having sort of an intimacy or an understanding of violence and understanding, having some real sort of fluency in that and real experience in that, do you think that is necessary in terms of being sort of a confident and humble and forward-moving? No.
I it certainly could play a factor for people like Mark and myself in our lives, but hardship. I just look at it like hardship. There's so many people that he's served in the communities he's served, and certainly I've served in the fire department, where they're conditioned, unfortunately, by circumstance, in the socioeconomic situation that they're in. But there's so much beauty that sprouts from hardship too. It's, you've got to be able to take the lessons that life has thrust upon you, or your work has thrust upon you, and grow and learn from that, and take the opportunity to learn from failure. I've worked in organizations where, unfortunately, sometimes the ego overrides a sense of higher duty, where this person or these group of people made this mistake, right? And it's serious and it's significant, and without a culture like the military, where I've had, whereas if you make mistakes in the military, that goes in an after action report that is for everyone to learn from, so nobody else makes that same mistake. In the civilian world, it's just a little bit different. We don't have to get too deep into unions and all this other stuff, but we have to be able to say, look, this person made this mistake. We want him to be better. We want everyone around him or her to be better. And we want this organization to grow from that. And I think culturally, from my perspective, we're changing. We're slowly growing out of that. We're bound to make mistakes, right? That's also because our jobs are difficult. There's a lot of hardships in our jobs, right? And there's certain things you're going to be good at, and there's certain things that you're just going to be thrust into a situation where you're going to have to figure it out. You're just going to have to navigate it and make the best judgment you possibly can, because you've never been on a call like this. You've never been in a situation like this. And you're thinking about the safety of everyone while all of this is going on. And then you take that home, right? There's just certain things that are heavy or heavier, and we all process things differently, but that adds to the element of hardship. Well, again, take pause, and Mark was talking about being mindful. Is like, how did this affect our performance? How did this affect my crew individually? How do we navigate this now? How do we grow from this? Hey, I can appreciate failure. Like, I have failed enough in my life where it's like, hey, let's look at like what went wrong and when did it start to go wrong, as opposed to, the Salem witch trials, let's burn everybody down, right? So that's kind of my take on violence versus hardship.
Right.
Yeah, I think the bigger piece is that the individual's resilience to recover, right? Are you going to go in the tank, or are you going to get back up off the floor, right? That's the challenge. Anytime you're working with folks or you're mentoring them, there's a balance between patting them on the ass and then kicking them in the ass.
Yep.
You got to push people.
Yep.
My biggest push as I work with people is it's really different training that I'm putting on and they're attending, but it's really leadership development disguised as hostage rescue.
Got it.
But everything is at the core. It's about leadership.
Got it.
So, I've been married, my wife, we've been married about 7 years. And this is a woman that's changed my life. It's selfless. It's always about doing for others. And, I subscribed to that along the way, especially at work. I was more than happy to stick my neck out for people and take care of my team members and whatever it took. But I really wasn't honest about who I was as a man. Does that make sense? Not making the best decisions along the way, not being mentally present, sometimes not being physically present. And there was a selfish side to me that I justified my absence because I'm out doing the Lord's work, so to speak.
Right.
But over time, I started to realize, you know what? There's a level of commitment in my personal life, not with my friends. You know, guys, you know how that works with your buddies. That's a different connection. But really connecting to somebody and committing to, you know, being not only responsible for yourself, but responsible for them, and really leading as a father, right? That's the second chance that I've been given. So it's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. When you talk about, you know, getting a little bit of time also for yourself and taking care of yourself, sneaking that rest in. I know you did just get back from this trip, and I know that, you know, when I'm talking to Trace, you know, she sort of explained it, and you've kind of explained it that, you know, sometimes you're not a guy, like, this motherfucker ain't going to the Barbados and like drinking a drink with like a fucking umbrella. Like, when you go on a trip, it's like there's still this, I don't know what the word is, the animal in you or the monster in you, whatever it is. And I feel like, is that what these sort of vacations, or I don't even know,
No.
these trips that you go, like, what are they, and like what do they do for you?
Well, my lifelong dream, I just went to Tanzania, and it was a walking safari. So there's only a couple, you know, companies out in the Serengeti that allow you to walk across the Serengeti with guides. So you walk with a park ranger by law, and then you walk through a guide who's been trained by the state. And they're both carrying rifles. And my buddy and myself and his wife, we're going to go on this 100-mile walking tour. And every night you camp in
like
little tents, but no roads. You do have some support with the safari company that basically sets up camp for you at certain locations. But you're in it. You're in this place that just demands respect, and you're on this amazing parcel of land that's incredibly beautiful, but these massive creatures that are there, you know, that are so powerful, just put you in awe, and you're there on their terms. You're a guest. So to have those experiences amongst the lions, hyenas, elephants, and buffalo, and you know, it was incredible. You learn a lot about animal behavior. You learn how to navigate the land with the guides, take pause, take a break, observe animal behavior, get as close as you can. So we're always walking upwind, and then from there we went to Zanzibar and spearfished in the deep blue ocean, and you know, you're around big creatures there too, and it's calculated risk, but you know, you also have to understand that if you're comfortable in those environments and you put the trust in yourself and the people that are around you, you're going to have an amazing time.
Right.
So it's just a beautiful experience.
Love it.
Are you buying that response? I mean, really?
I don't know. What do you think, man?
Well, I think you know, knowing Kevin, it is about the risk. It's about seeking that risk. It's about managing fear, right? And it's a test. I mean, all those things may be true, and it was eloquently put.
Yeah,
the reality is, I mean, what'd you do before that? Did you take a swim somewhere?
Oh, yeah, I swam Alcatraz.
You swam Alcatraz, that's right.
Where all the sharks are?
Yeah.
Right?
Again. It's calculated.
And what is that? What leads you to swim Alcatraz?
Well, a buddy of mine called me from the SEAL teams. He said, hey, there's a family that has really supported different veteran organizations. The family would love to swim Alcatraz. Would you mind swimming it with them? We'll have a few guys from the teams to support them. This is something that they want to do.
Nice.
So it's our way of supporting them and saying thank you. It's just comedy at sometimes because it's murky, it's choppy, it's, you know, it's cold water, and you're like, you know who's there.
Yeah.
And you run the gauntlet, so to speak, and then there were about 12 sea lions that started to swim around us for about 10 minutes.
Is that better or worse? You're like, well, I mean, the sharks will eat the sea lions, right?
No, the sea lions are laughing at us.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah. You get the fuck out of here, dude.
You slow, awkward, whatever you are, right?
Yeah.
But no, it was, in the end, it's you know, you have a feeling of exhilaration when you're done, and then, you know, just for the sake of that family and everything that they've committed to these veterans organizations, it's just a big thank you for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's good.
You do. What do you do? What do you do to unwind? You got any?
You know what? I'm the guy. If I'm gonna get away, I'm gonna go to wherever, and I'm gonna sit by the pool,
chill the fuck out,
and chill out. I stopped drinking about a year and a half ago, so
right on.
That's really not. I'm not sitting around drinking, but for a guy like me, you know, the hamster's always tearing up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's always churning. So. For me, I had a lot of anxiety because my brain was always, you know, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? You know, constant problem solving and trying to work for something. You know, what else is out there to do within the given field? But, you know, for me, it's just really slowing down. And just be honest with you, John, just spending more time with the family.
Beautiful.
I think that's the beauty of what's happened, you know, the last couple of years. It's really brought people back home and hopefully readjusted their priorities. Be there for your family. It is your number one priority. And make that sacrifice and quit making excuses for your bullshit. Then you become a fucking man.
That's it.
And then you start to look at things a lot different and you start enjoying your life.
That's it.
Absent that, you know, what's the point?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
And I got a question for you, John.
Please, man.
It's something. It goes back to a conversation we had many years ago when you talked about your training, when you went to Moscow and you studied performance art under a certain style. You'd come back to the United States, and one of your mentors and one of your teachers, when we talk about hardship, when we talk about sacrifice, you know, warned you very early on in your career, like, be careful of how much you give to your character. Right, because where's Jon Bernthal in the end of this long career? It's stripping away at you each commitment you make to another human being, right? And certainly we've talked about the complexities of our jobs and what we're reserving for when we come home. Is like, how do you navigate that?
You know, there was a time, I think especially after we worked together, you know, in England on Fury. Yeah, I just went back to England to promote this new movie, and it was crazy, man. Just even like kind of like being there. I you know, I think for a while I started to worry about how much I was going in and sort of would I be able to really be present there for my family and my friends and my life when it was over, and how, you know, who am I? Am I staying in this one? But I've come to this conclusion, man, that I'm never not gonna work that way. That, you know, the bottom line is that I'm putting, you know, my kids' names on the job that I'm doing, and this job is taking me away from my kids. So I'm gonna go in as fully. There's no stone I'm gonna leave unturned. I'm never gonna make, you know, nothing lazy. Like, if there's work to do, go fucking do it, 100%. And so I'm gonna work that way. But what I've come to sort of find is that, you know, I get to meet these fucking amazing people, and I get to like learn these unbelievable skills. And look, I love actors and I love the business, but it's the folks that I get to meet in those worlds, and you walk away with these friendships. I mean, look, man, we've been friends now for it's been a long time, man. And like, you know, I trust you, you know, like I know who you are, I know who your family is, like, and I look again, like in Baltimore, these relationships that I made, the communities that I got to go in, the experiences that I got to have, yeah, man, they like really, really fucking changed me. And so, and the first thing I said to you guys when I started, there's a cost, you know. I was not, you know, I missed a couple jiu-jitsu tournaments, you know, missed a whole heck of a lot of games. There's a lot of nights, you know, my wife is driving everybody around, you know, and doing all the cooking and all the cleaning, and that's wearing on her. Like, I get that there's the heavy fucking lifting, so I can go out there and, you know, be Mr. Pretend asshole, you know. But the bottom line is, I think just as long as you kind of keep those in mind, the whole time. You never lose sight of the truth of what's actually going on, you know?
When you're in a certain business, like even yours, man, you're gone. You know, you got a film, you got this project, you're gone. And there's such a balance that has to happen, you know. And then at the end of the day, you provide the best foundation for your kids, and then they walk out the door, and then you just, you know, pray if you will, right?
Yeah, there's a duality, right? It's like there's a mindset you need to have at work that you need to shift away from so that you can be at home, and you can be that dad, and you can be that husband, and be present, be aware, and pour that energy, because it's shifting gears when you go back to work. It's like, all right, I those things do not line up, right? I've got to be this other being right now, for the sake of everyone around you, and the community as well.